Thank you for the reminder. Now it's recording. You are ever that purity. Nothing can change that. All our imaginations of attachments, of impurities, of difficulties that we are creating in the mind, they are momentary appearances. They cannot touch what you are. All our attempts for purification is simply somehow or other bring the attention back to that source, which is ever pure. What does it mean to be pure? The religions talk about purity, and often it becomes a moral matter. And they have their whole list of what is right and what is wrong. And then if you are in the right side of the list, then you are pure. And it becomes moral. But purity simply means something that is not attached to something else. What is pure water if there is no pollution in it? What is pure air if there is no pollution? Nothing in the air that should not be there. And what you are is pure. It's not a moral state. It's simply there's nothing that can really attach itself to what you are. Ever pure. And yet it seems that we have to undergo a process of purification. It's simply because our attention has been caught up in the mental stream within this time-space continuum, creating that self-image, that person having all kinds of bad habits, all kinds of troubles creating. And the process of purification is to detach from that attachment to the image that we have created. All we have to do is to come back to our pure self, to our true, pure nature. It's here, it's now, it's never absent, it has never been polluted. Nothing can really attach itself to that. Isn't it a big joke what is going on? We create that delusion, and then we have to struggle and struggle and struggle to get rid of that delusion. And yet, the whole story makes sense. When I was in the midst of that process, then often I thought this is so meaningless. We somehow create it, then we struggle and struggle, and we come back and are there where we started. Nothing has happened. And yet, the experience is enriching. That is the mystery. That's difficult for the mind to accept. That the essence is ever pure, ever the same, and yet it's getting richer and richer. It's incomprehensible, and yet that's what's happening. ever one. In that oneness, the whole multiplicity is included, and that beingness is ever eager to experience itself, to express itself in ever new and new and new ways. Eventually, I came to accept, okay, it's not meaningless struggle that we are going through simply to come back to where we have started. The whole damn story makes sense from a certain level observed. It's good to remember again and again, I am not this little limited person I believe I am. I am that which makes the experience possible. It's here, it's now, it's not at the end of a long journey. It's that because of which I can think, I can feel, I can experience, I can express. The creativity comes out of that, the beauty comes out of that. Let's not forget it. In the midst of the hectic daily life, in the midst of the difficulties that are happening now in the world, our pure essence is never affected by it. It's that which makes the whole experience possible. Bring the attention back to that, get rooted in that, come home into that. And then whatever happens doesn't really affect you. Superficially, there will be reactions, there will be emotions. In the essence, there is just that observation of what's going on. It's not that there is a witness there, that observation is just happening. Unaffected, unattached, unconcerned even. Ever joyous, ever beautiful, ever complete. Come back home to that. Whenever you remember, okay, there I'm going again. Totally immersed in that identification with the role I'm playing on this level, with this person. Just let go. Here, now, timelessly, and nothing can affect you. It's totally simple. It's not difficult. And yet, it has to be done. As long as that habit is there, and we are always drawn in that habit of me, separate from everybody else, we don't get around it to remember and see what we are doing. And every time we become aware of it, just step out of it, let it go. Until that habit is neutralized to the point that we are not more getting fooled. And then we can playfully play that role, that personal role in this drama, in this world, knowing every moment is there just to get the experience, to get richer for the experience. The details, they change all the time. Sometimes they are funny, sometimes they are sad, sometimes they are pleasant, sometimes they are unpleasant. We need not be concerned about it. Here now there is peace. Here now there is joy. There is beauty. There is creativity. There is that bubbling life, ever the same, and continuously expressing itself in so many, many, many ways. Okay, I stop going on and on. Is there anybody here who would like to come in, say something? You are welcome to come.
Hello, Werner.
Hello, there I see you. Hello, Leora.
Thank you for your introduction. I'm confused because for so many years I've been practicing Buddhism, Theravada, all the teachings of the Buddha and techniques of how to work with thoughts, of how to work with emotions, this meditation, that meditation. And since I've been sitting with you, I feel that somehow now I'm confused. I haven't been so well emotionally. It's becoming difficult. The energies, as you said, the voices. And I hear what you're saying, and I know I told you that before also, that I understand everything perfectly in the mind. But somehow I need somebody to convince me and to hold my hand now, start walking. It feels like, in a way, maybe it's a new way, I'm not sure, but I can't go back. I tried to listen to a teacher that I really like from the tradition, an American teacher. I just couldn't listen to it. I don't know. I just didn't like it. And I don't know what to say, but it's easy just to say. It's not that I don't respect it or anything. It's just now it feels somehow far away, and I can feel there is a difference between the two ways, and I wonder. Intellectually, also intellectually, but also I would like to hear from you a little bit of what to do now when I have to somehow change my way of practice, because in a way, you don't give instructions, you just
Well, anyhow, you don't need to have a bad feeling about the way you have been practicing, and your teachers, after all, they have helped you to come to the point where you are today.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. And how to do it, how to practice, it doesn't really matter. You can very well use the tools that you have been using all the time in doing Vipassana. Being aware of the breath, being aware of the body sensations, and use that as a help to bring the attention to the present. And relax, let go. Not really have an idea what should happen. Just be aware of being aware, consciously conscious in the now, and let go and be open. that's basically all we can do. And how we bringing the attention to that doesn't really matter. You can do it with the question, who am I? Then you are also there. It's also a mind stopper, a way to withdraw the attention from all the things that are happening. But if you don't feel uncomfortable now with what you have been doing, you can very well continue doing the same type of practice. Just maybe freed from all the concepts that have come along with it. Just practice of being aware and let go and open like a child. And wait and see what happens.
Yeah, actually, this is what I do. But when I don't feel so good, then I'm looking all the time for something more, something different. Maybe this can help. Maybe that can help. He said, she said. I have all the, ideas and instructions, and maybe I should sit and give sentences of metta, which I've actually never liked doing, really. The only thing that really works for me is, as you say, actually just remind myself here and now and bring the awareness to the body and to the breath. But for instance, when the thoughts get crazy in my head and like negative inner speech, I also, I feel I know what to do with it, but maybe I just want to share that it's difficult because somehow, as a matter, I actually do know what to do with it. I just feel that sometimes it gets really, really difficult. So, yeah.
Right. And right now it is a difficult situation. It's very intense. But then it's ultimately, it's not a matter of difficult or not difficult, but whether we go about it or not.
Whether what?
Whether we do it or not, whether we go about it or not, whether in difficult situation we let ourselves get discouraged and don't even try, or whether we still, in spite of that, go about it. And then you may also sometimes experience, I'm sure you do, that even in difficult situations, suddenly it's like, oh, it goes, and you feel at peace, and you become aware, in spite of the tensions, in spite of the difficulties, that other aspect has always been there. It was simply overshadowed. I would recommend, as an addition to just being aware, choose your physical center. I think I told you that before. And then use that a lot. When you sit quietly, and also when you remember, when you are active, and especially in difficult situations, it helps to redirect the attention instead of being locked on the level of the difficulties and turning it around. If you can redirect the attention simply of being centered physically and breathe consciously and relax, then it's easier, not more to be hooked into the emotions and that story that brought about that idea of difficulties and tensions.
So specifically for me, this is easy when I'm in a difficult situation, but this is easy. Somehow I'm able to stay balanced and as you described. But when it comes to, as I said, I would call it negative or unpleasant inner speech and worries about the future.
Yeah.
I'm probably not the only one nowadays. And this is when it becomes very challenging, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not as if it's not something external. It's like it feels internal.
Yeah.
It's me. I make this. Yeah. Okay, you understand. Yeah.
Right. It feels internal and yet it's still external.
Okay.
It's just the so-called outer world and the inner world, they both are objects that we are experiencing. The inner world is subtler than the outer world, but still, you are neither the outer world nor are you the inner world. Both are movies that are coming, changing all the time. And you are that which makes those movies possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But when the sorrows come about, the worries come about the future, how is this going to end? If it continues like this, it's terrible. Then when you become aware that you are doing, don't try to look for a solution, but then you bring the attention to yourself as an experience and see what those thoughts and those worries and those tensions are doing to you right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of remaining stuck on the intellectual struggle, what could we do? What is going to happen? How could we somehow contribute? Then you look at yourself and see what is all this doing to me right now. See what kind of tensions are produced energetically, physically, and breathe and center and relax.
Yeah. So I'll just say one more thing, just thank you. And also, this just reminds me how vulnerable, I forgot how to say the word, like
Vulnerable.
yeah, fragile. Yeah, we all are, and specifically in this period now. Also, my children, my grandchildren are sick, and then it's really challenging, and everybody's like, in a way, struggling. And I just to remind myself that we all are like that, and just like accept it and
Right.
allow.
On this level, it can be over in a split second.
Yeah. Yeah.
All that we have been holding on to, holding dear, can be gone
Yeah.
in a split moment.
Yeah.
Right. But you are not vulnerable. Nothing can hurt you, but you really are.
Yeah. Okay.
You are that which makes the experience possible. Apart from that, on this level, in this story, it looks really grave right now. It looks bad. And it can get worse for some time. And then it passes, and out of that, something very beautiful can grow. Don't worry about that. At the end, it will be okay.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Is there anybody else who would like to come in? You're welcome. In the beginning, I said you are all pure. We are all pure. And then what we have been just discussing with Leora, there come all these worries, these tensions, these difficulties. How go the two together? They are there as an experience. And still I say, you're pure, nothing can touch you. These are momentary appearances, dreamlike, like when we go to sleep and then we dream. All kinds of struggle can be there in the dream. All kinds of difficulties can be there in the dream. And then we wake up, oh, it was just a dream. It has never really affected me. All that seems to be able to hurt me couldn't really hurt me. Because the dream came out of my consciousness, influenced by my mind, but then creating a whole reality, creating sorry for that, a whole scenario where there can be joy and sorrow, where there can be pleasure and pain, and then it simply disappears. When I wake up, this whole scenario of the dream has never been able to hurt the one who is dreaming. And so, in a similar way, all these experiences are only possible because you are there, the source of it. All these ideas that we are coming up with are only possible because you are there, ever pure. The source of energy, the source of consciousness, the source of love, the source of life. It's good to remember, to connect with that. Then, even in difficult situations, we are not getting hooked into the story. Momentary, there will be emotional reactions to what is happening, to what external experience is there, to thoughts, to imaginations that come in the mind. There will be emotional reactions, and yet, if we step out of that, there is that essence, unaffected, unconcerned, ever watchful, eager to experience, get richer for the experience, and yet totally unaffected by what is happening. The mind will never grasp this. There will never be an explanation that makes it clear. As soon as we talk about it, we have to use pictures, like the dream and the dreamer and the waker. It can never be explained, and yet deep down, everybody knows it already. How can we know it? Because we are it. You are that. Tat Tvam Asi, the great Mahavajra of the Indian tradition. You are that. Is there anybody who would like to come in? I don't know whether you are hearing the music there is a harvesting machine has passed by and is somewhere there. I don't know whether they are going farther or whether they are going to be busy there, and they always somehow make loud music. That's the modern India. It's getting farther away. That's not bad. Is there anybody who would like to come in? Please come. But I said to Liaura at the end, and even if it's not fun and it's maybe getting worse on this level, but at the end it will, something very good will come out of it. I have said it a number of times. And it's not that I'm a future teller. I'm not looking into the future and see things how they are coming out of that. It's simply so obvious in that struggle of energies that are happening on this level. That destructive energy that has been having a grip on this level, on this world for such a long time, is desperate, because another energy, much more beautiful, much more harmonious, much more expansive, is getting stronger and stronger. And in that desperation that wants to hold on to, tries to establish a total control that it can stay here, but it's not possible. As the energy, the beautiful, the lightful, the energy of love is getting stronger and stronger, this simply has to let go eventually, to capitulate and to give up. It cannot win. So even on this level, we need not have worries about the future and somehow try to deal as good with the present circumstances as we can. Of course, I know for many it's not easy. For many it's being made very difficult. Just hold on. Find somehow your way through this whole mess. Be true to yourself. Do whatever is needed to somehow get by. And then we have to stick it out until things are changing. That way, being true to ourselves, we're contributing a lot to bring something positive into it, to facilitate that change of energies from a dark to a lightful energy. Okay, there are 37 people here. Nobody wants to talk?
Coucou.
Hello.
Werner.
Hello.
Thank you.
Sandrine, huh?
Sandrine. Yes.
Sandrine, yes.
Yes. I wanted to ask you, I have many people around me dying in a terrible way, hanged down, or very terrible. And my mother-in-law, she's dying, not for COVID, but many strange things.
Yeah.
And I love praying. But I feel sometimes it could be a trick as well of willing the good, the well. But I feel in a good way, in the loving way, some little tension sometimes, you know? And the question is it better to just be there and breathe for them, or just not to breathe, just to focus on being breathed, or not? It's just a question. I repeat, when I pray, it's just love. But the question sometimes I see how it could be tricky to help and to I don't know. You feel what I mean?
Yes. I mean, if you are with somebody and they are full of sadness, then naturally you may also feel that sadness and grieve with them. But you can grieve in a way that it is not pulling you into a dark hole, but that in spite of that, you connect with the love, and then even the grieving experience will be expansive. It's not that we have to somehow try to artificially always be in so-called positive emotions.
Yeah.
But accept also the not so pleasant emotions. But if we are not hooked into the emotion and don't go along with them, that they pull us down into darkness, then they don't hurt really. Then even sadness becomes very beautiful and expansive.
Yeah, but it's more about those people are far away from me.
Yeah,
and I'm okay with this dying, because I'm with people dying very often because of what I'm doing.
Yeah,
it's more about the question. It's if it's too much to pray for them, for the soul, or it would be, it's a question which just came before. It's perhaps better to be just to think about them and to let it to be breathed by life without another action, just to pray for their soul, or it's just a question that appear.
Yes, and actually both are the same. If you naturally pray, then by all means continue praying if that comes natural to you. But if you simply connect with them, feel the connection, then actually it's the same. When you are praying for them, you are also doing that. You're also connecting with them, and that is what matters more than the words of your prayer, the thoughts of your prayer. But if you have the habit of connecting with people by praying, you need not think that there is anything wrong doing so.
Thank you, because you make me realizing now that I was underestimating the fact of doing nothing, just being in connections with just what I am, with no things more.
Yes.
I thought I had to, to do something. It was, but normally when I pray just with all my heart, it's coming like this. But sometimes I feel the little, I have to, sometimes, and more than, I was underestimating the fact of doing nothing and with people. Yeah.
Just connect, then you don't need to do anything. It's happening all by itself. If somebody is in a difficult situation, if somebody is suffering, and you connect, but you don't let your mind be pulled into suffering, then something very beautiful flows through you towards those people without doing anything. But if you facilitate by praying, there's absolutely nothing wrong in that.
No, I understood, but now it's clear that praying or just being, it's the same. It's a prayer.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's not either or.
I came with a bit like this. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much, Werner.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to come? You are welcome. What we were just talking about with Sandrine. This is also in our spiritual growth as a sadhak. We often think we have to do so many things in order to get closer to reality, in order to get closer to the goal. So we have to do all these practices, to do the strict timetable, to do all the good deeds and the selfless work and whatever. These are all helps. These are all crutches just for that simple deed that is basically necessary to turn the attention back to the source. It's not easy when we are all agitated to abstractly simply to drop it and to simply be. So it's easier to have something to hold on, some technique, some way of meditating, some way of doing things. But the aspect that really matters is by doing that practice, we withdraw our attachment, the attention from what we are usually busy with, and bring it back to the source. The jnani would say to the self. The devotee would say to God. That presence, whether you call it the presence of the self or the divine presence, is the same. And that is what matters. And so all our doings are crutches to help that little thing. We are always there. We have never been separate from that. And yet, in our imaginations, we're creating all that sense of separation, and all we have to do to catch the attention on its own level, where it's busy, and turn it back to the source. And for that, we don't really need to do anything, but just let go. Simply, often it's much easier to let go if we do some practice, if we do it in a specific way, and if we repeat that certain action again and again, it's getting easier. And so it is also when we're dealing with people. Our external words, our internal prayers, they are not the main thing. When we connect with living beings, then we can feel what they are going through, and at the same time still be aware of something beautiful, something that is not affected by it, something that is not touched by it. And then that very seeing, that connecting, is already doing the job. Many times it's very, if we are close, it's very helpful that we have a conversation, that we talk, but the inner work that is happening is really the important one. So we don't have to brood, don't have to question what is the right way to approach people, to deal with people, to help people. Just connect with yourself, connect with them. how we are doing it, whatever help we are attaching to it, it doesn't matter at all. If somebody feels like praying, then praying is the way. If somebody feels comfortable with praying, some people can't pray, it just feels funny to pray. So for them, it's certainly not the way. For Francis of Assisi, praying was the means that he used to go all the way to his spiritual journey, transforming that Francis from a young, licentious freak, a spoiled, rich kid, into a fantastic, wonderful being. He was just praying. He didn't have much a notion of theology, just suddenly he felt that connection with God, and then he started to talk to God. And talked and talked and talked in the beginning, and slowly it was getting less and less talk, simpler and simpler with prayer. From all his stories that he used to tell God in the beginning, in order to connect more consciously, then it became more and more just, oh my God, oh my God, Dio mio. And then the oh my also disappeared, and he was just praying God, God, Dio, Dio. At the end, he just kept quiet. His practice was prayer. And this prayer was simplifying all by itself. Nobody taught him to do so. He just felt the divine presence. And he felt it so strong that he saw it everywhere. Everything became a manifestation of the divine. And that he started to call everything brother and sister. All people, all animals, the elements, the things. His own body was a brother, us. He prayed, and through the prayer he connected, and he let go, and let go, and let go. At the end, the prayer became silent all by itself. Again, I'm asking, is there anyone who would like to talk? You're welcome to come. Seems not to be the case.
Hi, Werner.
Hello, Kristen.
Yes. It's good to see you.
Are you now in Denmark or on an island?
I'm on the island.
You are on the island.
Yeah. You can see the light is more strong. In Denmark, it's all gray. Yeah, it's good to see you. Maybe you can talk a little bit about my situation. Is I'm feeling in a mental prison. I'm in a situation where everything could be nice, but because of like my mental attitude, I feel like a lion in a cage. And I'll tell you a little bit about the situation. I came here and everything was very lovely. And then an old hip injury broke up.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I moved to a place where it's very isolated and I don't have a car and I cannot walk to the supermarket. And, you know, there's a lot of these things. And also what is worrying me is I have 4 groups coming for yoga and trekking and I cannot walk.
Yeah.
And I'm going to the pharmacy today with a taxi to get some ibuprofen. But I know this will probably take some months.
Yeah.
So
sorry, your hip is broken? Or?
No, it's an inflammation. It's an inflammation, but it's very painful, and I cannot sit and I cannot walk. So I can lie on my stomach and stretch it out.
Not exactly a good position to give yoga classes.
Well, it's okay, but it's worse with the trekking. Yeah, it's good to laugh about it. So yeah, so you know, in a way now I have almost 3 weeks to myself. I could meditate. I cannot do yoga. But of course, also in the night, I had a lot of anxiety and I feel very trapped. So it's like how to break out of the mental prison, because it could also be nice if I could relax into it.
Yes. Now you are also worried what's going to happen when the people are coming. They're coming after 3 weeks, huh?
Yeah, a little less than 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, you don't feel like canceling that thing, don't you? No, then you just leave it in God's, in the universe's hands, what is going to happen. And then when the time comes and they come, your situation may have been improved and you somehow adjust to what you can do and what you cannot do. Just don't make it in the mind bigger and bigger and bigger what is happening. Then it's getting a problem and the problem is getting bigger and is weighting you down. I mean, you have already enough to do with your body and the pains that you have, so don't make make the mental pain artificially bigger and bigger and bigger. Best is to accept, okay, the situation is as it is, and I can do what I can. Maybe it's improving before they come, and then we can do something together, and otherwise you somehow find a way to spend the time in such a way that even if you cannot do the things that you wanted to do with them, you can have a very creative and beautiful time together. Maybe not as you have planned, but that's not the only way, the way you have planned. So when the worries come, then when you catch yourself, oh, there I'm brooding again, I'm worrying again, then the same thing I have been saying repeatedly. Then withdraw the attention from the story who brought the worries about and see what the worries are doing to your experience right now, how it creates tensions. And watch those tensions, and once we are seeing them, it's already an object. We are not more so totally in it, totally attached to it. And there we can start to let go, to relax. And then worries
I get
disappear.
I get very moved when you say this, because as you're talking, I realize something very strong. And I realize this is about my feeling of responsibility.
Yes.
And it's a very deep issue for me that I'm a bit over responsible. And of course, I think actually my biggest worry in all this is that this hotel that the people are coming to is very expensive, and they paid a lot of money for yoga and trekking holiday.
Yeah.
And then I stand there and I almost cannot walk from my room to the reception. So I think, looking at that responsibility feeling, that's the key.
Right. Of course, it's good to take the responsibility for what we are bringing into motion, but we don't have to take ourselves then so serious also.
Yeah.
And it can also very well happen, for example, for the trekking, that somebody may be doing that for you, who is happy to do so. That somebody is there and knows the places and can go trekking with those people, even if you do, you can. And they still can have their trekking that they wanted. There's always a possibility, a solution there. But the sense of responsibility is something that has been very much ingrained in the European brain. And it's not basically a wrong thing. It's, I think people should responsibility over their lives, over what they are doing, but being then responsible for the situations around that we cannot control, there it's going beyond our responsibility. And then I'm taking myself as a person again too serious. The role that I'm playing in this situation. Then the so-called good word, responsibility, becomes more an expression of self-importance, that I'm taking myself as a person too important. And then when you catch yourself, then that after all, it's my responsibility, then also from that, step a step back and watch it. Look at the mechanism of it. And then we become aware, aha, it's again the me person who thinks I'm very, very important and things should go the way I think they should go. And then, of course, I also want to be present myself in such a way that the people are happy with me and I'm getting a positive response. All these aspects are coming in, and we can let that part of the responsibility go. And just use that basically good virtue of responsibility to look that things can go as smooth as they go. You can also already announce to the people, it will not go exactly as I have planned, because this is the situation. But if you still have the courage, come and we make the best out of it. Emotions, tensions, all that we can deal with by learning to observe what they are doing to our experience right now. And when we observe it, it's an object. We're already stepped out. Then it's easier to see what it's doing, the mechanism of it, and start to relax that. And in that relaxation, the unnecessary tensions simply gradually disappear. Still, you have to deal with your physical situation. somehow, as long as there is a body, then situations happen.
Yeah.
And we have to somehow deal with them.
Mm.
Where is that island you are?
It is, it's one of the Canary Islands.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's close to Tenerife. It's, I think, 1 hour with a boat from Tenerife.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Karina will come to visit me.
I see. Yeah, she's Nepal.
Yeah, she's the neighbor island.
Yeah. Well, do what you can to cure your body, but don't unnecessarily burden yourself with worries about how it is going to go.
Mm. Yeah.
You can already maybe take some measures
Mm.
and involve people that you may that they can do certain things which you thought of doing and you can't.
Mm.
Why not? But no need of struggling and worrying. Somehow, if we are in tune with the current, it's always working out somehow.
Mm. Yes.
Yes.
It's been very helpful.
You're welcome.
Thank
I
you
wish
so
you
much.
well and get well
Thank you,
quickly.
Werner.
Get well quickly.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to come? It's often so in life, we make plans, we have ideas, and then things turn out differently. Something happens that it has to be quite in a different way. It's good to learn to be flexible, accepting, not accepting with defeat. Think, oh, again I failed, again, it's not the way I thought, but accepting that situations simply turn out very different than what we thought they would be. And if we connect with ourselves, if we connect with that source of beauty and creativity, and learn to relax and let it flow, then even if things are turning out so much different than what we have been planning, they will work out in a beautiful, creative, harmonious way. And if we are working with people, then it's always like this. Some people like it better than others, no matter whether you're doing this way or that way. That's just how it is. Every situation we are meeting is a possibility to learn, to grow. It's good to remember that's what we came here for. That's what this world is about. A matrix into which we are projecting aspects of our true self, forming a momentary entity. For the sake of experiencing, for the sake of learning, for the sake of unfolding. This is what this life is about. And every situation is a possibility to go deeper, to learn, to get stronger. If you see life like this, then it just becomes a continuous challenge, but not a bad challenge, but a challenge we are happily accepting. Okay, new situation, something new to learn. And we can joyously, playfully go about it. Of course, sometimes it's not pleasant, but we are encountering. Sometimes our experience is not pleasant at all, and yet if we don't resist, already the big part of the pain that it is created in an unpleasant situation is gone. If we don't accept, if we resist against facts, then it's becoming a heavy burden. It's becoming misery. Resisting against facts is misery. Accepting them is not weakness. It's not being defeated. It simply means accepting the situation. And in that acceptance, we still can connect. And then out of that well of life and beauty and creativity, then we get the energy to deal with that situation in a beautiful way, in a creative way. This world is not as real as it appears to be. It's a magic show where we are playing for some time in order to learn. Let's learn with every moment in order to unfold. Let's unfold with every moment. And we can do that painfully, or more and more, we can do that playfully, joyously, if that awareness is there. If we don't get identified with the role that we are playing too much, but are always aware, okay, it's a momentary role I'm playing in this theater of this world, and I'm benefiting from playing this role. Sometimes the role is happy, sometimes it's sad. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's painful. Sometimes many times it's a mixture of all that. But you, what you are not this person, are not affected. You're just getting richer for the experience from moment to moment. Come back to that thought. And with the thought, open the heart. And eventually you are aware this is reality. That's what it is. It's not something that I'm making up in my mind. The whole world experience we are making up in the mind, but that which makes the experience possible, we are not making up in the mind. The mind comes after. The thoughts come after. And the mind is nothing else but the flow of thoughts, riding on the prana, the life force. Is there anyone who would like to say something? You're welcome.
Yes, I would like to ask again about energies, what you just said now.
Yes.
When letting go, I went to the big city. I went to Jerusalem this week. I had some missions there, medical checkup stuff. Yeah, and the city was, I would dare saying, dead, really. So we talk about energies. I mean, we all feel energies, whether we talk about them or not, it doesn't matter, but we all feel energies. So that was tough, I would say. I was okay because I was happy with the results of the medical checkup, and I sat in a small cafe, which I used to like, and like had something to eat, and I met some good friends, so it was fine. But this thing about the energies, the bus was empty, the streets were empty, the cafe was half empty. So I also want, like, if you can connect this with what you said to Kirsten about letting go, what I feel, I have been feeling it quite a lot. When I let go of something in me, I don't even know what it is, responsibility or connection or me, my self-importance, whatever. There is a letting go, I know. And I can feel how it affects the people, specifically when my children and the grandchildren, when it's like all messy there and everybody's worn out, and I can feel how the energies change around.
Yes.
So, yeah, maybe it's more of a sharing with you. I don't really have a question, but it's like I can't even explain it, because you said to let go, but then you let go of the idea of I'm responsible, like you said to Kirsten about, you know, this group and everything. What do we let go of, actually? And the connection with the energies is...
I mean, like now with responsibility, it's nothing wrong that we do what we can to turn a situation into something nice. And if we have somehow taken that on our shoulders to do so, that we do so. But what we can let go is all the worries. If it turns out differently, all the worries that ahead, whether am I going to be successful? Am I not going to be successful? Is it going to turn out well? Is it not going to turn out well? All these ideas that have nothing really to do with dealing reasonably with the situation, but it's all about me, 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 me. And so also when we confront the situation that may be a little bit shocking, like when you go to the city and you feel, oh, the city is dead, then instead of getting pulled into something dark because of that, then okay, that's my feeling right now, that's my experience, accept it is as it is. And then in that acceptance, you let go of the resistance, of that resistance comes from that me personality, and then actually your energy will flow much livelier, much more powerfully. And then you bring life into the dead city.
Yeah. Small ripples, just remember.
Yeah, correct.
Small ripples, yeah. Yeah, okay, Werner, thank you.
You're welcome. Adios, adios. Is there anybody else? Who would like to talk?
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Nelly.
Thank you for your inspiration and for your reminders in the beginning and after that. I feel a lot of support in what you talk to us. So, yeah.
You're welcome.
Yes, it's very, very helpful for me because all the time on my way I feel a lot of tension, and I feel how strong some stuff is attached to me. Yeah, it's like it accreted to me, and when I watch my breath and feel these tensions, and I feel that something is going on, that some relaxation or very, very slow comes, and some detachment is going on, but it is like meat separates from bones. It's very very hard. Yeah. I see how strong these things, this stuff attached to me, and yeah, it's very, very helpful to hear all the time what you say about our pureness and all these reminders to come back to our true self. Yeah, I feel it's a great help for me.
Right, and then you can also have patience with yourself. Patience with Nelly. And accept that, okay, certain mechanisms, they are so deep ingrained and strong, so it's no wonder that they don't go from one day to another, that they were brought up about in time, and they will need some time to let them go again. And then what I have the feeling, often comes that feeling to you that you're not good enough. And don't believe that, don't hold on to that. Don't think you're not good enough. You just do what you can and let go as good as you can. And that's all you can do.
Yeah. Yes, okay. I just see a lot of emotions come up, yeah. And I would like to be better. I think,
Yes.
yes, I would like, yeah. Sometimes I say I would like to be more compassionate, for example, but I don't find these feelings in myself, and I feel some amazing. Maybe it's, yeah, it's something is closed in me. Maybe.
Right. We may not feel so easily the connection with others when there is a lot of stuff going on, because then your job is to deal mainly with that, to somehow clean out your own house first. Yeah. And the others, it's also there, that connection, but the awareness of it will come by itself gradually. The job is really to remove those things that stand in the way. And that's what you are busy with, so fine. Just continue like this. And of course, wherever we are and whenever we are looking, we can always think, oh, it could be better, I could do better, I could have done better, but don't waste your time like this. You just are conscious in the present and go about it about it as good as it goes, as good as you can. And that's all you need to do, that's all you can do.
Okay. Okay, Werner. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Don't worry.
Okay. Go on. Hari Om.
Yes, don't worry and go on. Hari Om.
Okay.
So, shall we stop for today? If there is nothing urgent suddenly, then I will turn off the recording.